Hey crafty peeps, welcome back to my channel. As the title suggests, this is a little bit of a tutorial and project share for the collab, and that's the Diamond Heart Darlings collab hosted by Poetspice. I will link her along with all the ladies participating down below, and we're supposed to post on the second Friday of the month. I'm a little late and I apologize for that, but let's just get into what I wanted to share. So I made what's called a see-through policy envelope with a string closure, and so let's just get into the tutorial. So first you'll need your scoreboard, and I made two different sizes. This is the smaller size I'm showing you. You'll need a piece of paper that's 8.5 by 9.5. On the 8.5 inch guide, you're going to score at 2 1/4 and 6 1/4. You're going to rotate it, and on the 9.5 side, you'll score at 1 inch, and 8 inch. And so that's all you'll need your scoreboard for, so you can put that away. So next we want to take our piece of paper, and this is 110 cardstock I'm using. We want to take and burnish on all our score lines. And you'll end up with something like this, cut into a few pieces. So on the 9 inch side, you want to have an angle cut up to the score line, and then turn it and have an angle cut up to the score line. You're going to repeat it for this side. Angle cut up to the score line, angle cut up to the score line. Then you'll do the same thing on this side. And when you're done, you have something that looks like this. You see the ends are angled. This is basically your policy envelope. As you can see, it'll fold and you'll have room. So I made two. This is the shorter size. I will post the other measurements for the larger size that I created as well. So now to make it see-through. A couple of different ways you can do this. You can use any of your dies that you have in your stash to make a window here. Any shape that you would like. Here's just a few. I got this rectangle here, some stars, and this is like an oval shape. That's an option. Or you could take something, this is just some double-sided tape, trace a hole here with your pencil, place it about where you want, draw a hole, and then proceed to cut that out. So I'll be right back. So when you finish, you'll have something like this. Now keep in mind you have two different ends. You have a top and a bottom. The bottom is usually the shorter piece, the smaller rectangle. The top is usually the larger one, because this is where you'll need to put your closures. And if you were to use a die cutting machine, keep in mind these envelopes are pretty wide. This is 8.5, so you would need at least, you know, a wide platform cutting machine, such as I use my Empress or, you know, a Big Shot, something like that. But again, you could just do it by hand and use any of your dies and trace and cut. So after you would do that, you can take your acetate and you would actually glue this into place, so you would have your window. And I know this is kind of hard to see because it's clear. Now also too, if you wanted to mat your front and the back, I would suggest you do that before you form it together. So you would measure, and I usually go 1/4 of an inch in. So for example, this envelope is, when this envelope is completed, it measures 4 by 7. So my matting pieces would be 3 3/4 by 6 3/4. And then if I wanted to add additional layer, it would go in another 1/4 of an inch. So I would make one here and one for the back. And to keep this shape, I would actually take the same shape that I used and cut it into the matting piece as well, and have all your matting layers. Take your glue. You're going to put a thin strip here because you have a little bit of overhang to close this, and that's what you'll do. Burnish that really good, and then at the bottom you'll add glue there. And this is the reason for the angle cuts. As you can see, it has an angle. This is so this will lay flat instead of just cutting it straight across. So now you have your envelope form. So for your closure, you could use several different things. You could use gem pieces, you could use die cuts, you could use flowers where you would put one here, one there, or you can even use stickers if you like. And what you would do is you would take your glue, whatever glue you're using, you want to glue this underneath that piece. And these die cuts, if you use die cuts or gem pieces like these, to make them a little more dimensional and have room for the string, you would add some foam tape to the back of these. Adhere both of them down, and then you can make your wrap like so. Now I'll show you some examples that I created for this collab, and this is where I used my diamond press products. Let me show you some of the things I used. Well, I did use some KS craft dye. So I used this honeycomb dye. I used this diamond press Be Sweet. I used a couple of the dyes from here, Be Happy. I also used this slimline dye set, and I'll put the name of it in the description bar. But I used this design here, and I used a couple of sentiments, the thank you and this hello. When I used this one too to create one of mine. So let me show you what I made. Here's my first one. And so here's that die that I cut into the paper. And this is just matted with some silver with glitter paper. This is the hello. I got it popped up on dimension. I just added some ribbon and a little gem piece here. And here's the closure. I just used ribbon. And this just unties like so. That's your closure. And I have, see if I can show you, see I have a dimensional foam dot there to give it room. And so this is actually the perfect size for a slimline card. And so that's what I created it for slimline cards, or any treats or any embellishments, anything you wanted to gift someone. So you could put that in there and close it up. That's just an idea, and you can make it to coordinate whatever card you use. So that's the first one. Here's the second one, using the bee themed items. And this says Be Happy. This is just a flower I had in my stash That's where I used that KS Craft honeycomb die. Popped up a couple of pieces on dimension. This is also on dimensional foam, this Be Happy. And then this closes. This is where I use those die cuts, and again it's on dimensional foam. And this can tie around here, like so. And that's another slimline style, a larger size. This is the smaller size that I demonstrated, and this is 7x4. And this one I made a shaker. There's a thank you. I added some flowers here. This is just a sequin mix, and how I created it, I cut it with the die. This is matted 2 layers, and what I did, I used two pieces, put the sequins in the middle. You can either glue around the outside and glue it into that, or you can sew around the outside and glue it into it. And I like how that came out. And this just closes like such. I really like how that one came out. And again, you can use them for not just cards, but anything you wanted to gift someone, whether it be a gift card and a note. If you wanted to use it for treats or candy bars or different embellishments for a crafty friend. So that's my project for Diamond Heart Darlings collab. I'll be sure to link the measurements down below. If there's any questions or anything wasn't clear, ask me down below, and I'll be sure to answer as soon as I can. Thank you for watching, and you all stay safe, stay crafty, and spread love. We all could use it. Bye.